Who's the one per? Oh, Pat Travolino. It's showtime. That's right. Does Trump care about America? Great question. Yeah, I'm curious to see what people say to that. You already know what the Trump supporters are going to say. He loves our country. Yeah, sure he does. Sure he does. You know, it's it's so frustrating to deal with the fact that no matter what Donald Trump does, no matter how bad it is for these people who support him, you'll never be able to convince a single one of them that he's hurting them. Never. They refuse to believe it. Steve Blair, my man, what's up? Always good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, you can't convince them. It doesn't matter what Trump does. Doesn't matter how much their pockets are hurting. It's just like, and don't get me wrong. I think they might know. They just won't admit it. They'll never admit it. They're too invested. They can't. It's crazy. Unbelievable, really. Huh. Trump cares about his own legacy. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know if he even cares about his own legacy. I think he just cares about money. Period. Because his legacy is like his legacy's shot. I mean, he knows that all the stuff he's doing is cruel and evil. His legacy is shit. What's his legacy, really? You know what I mean? So who knows, Pat? I don't know. 13 people. Charlie Jones, $40 billion is a small loan to a guy like Trump. Yeah. I remember you said that in the last stream. Thank you for being here, Charlie. Yeah, I decided to do the show a little earlier tonight than usual. Get it out of the way. Plus, I want to see if this is better than doing it at say 10:30. We'll see how many people we get. We'll see. Dragon Reborn 1982. You seem to be enjoying these live feeds. Dragon Reborn, good to see you. I am very much. I am. I mean, there's other things I'd rather be doing, but I enjoy this shit more than MobTube, that's for sure. Even though it's aggravating dealing with certain types of people, but yeah. Trump will throw the world into war on his way out. If not before then. Money? Wait until he realizes that money means shit. Yeah, well, you know, what's always amazing to me about people like him is the fucking greed is just tremendous. It's like how rich do you have to be before you're fucking satisfied? And I know I always use the expression there's no such thing as too much money or enough money. I'm sorry, there's no such thing as enough money, but there really is. I mean, there really is. Uh, the thing is, a lot of Trump's bullshit about being so rich was just that. It was bullshit for a lot of his life. And now he's really rich. He's really since he took office the second time, he's actually become the billionaire he used to always pretend to be. So he will have Americans writhing penniless in the gutter on his way out of this life. Yeah, and the MAGA people, the red hat people, they'll still be sitting there saying best president ever to live. You know, I deal with people like this on here. There's people who cannot admit when they're wrong no matter what. You'll always see me. If I fuck up and I realize I fucked up, I'll post about it as quickly as possible just to put it out there. I know I made a mistake. But other people, you can't get them to say they're wrong. You know what I mean? And then you got these fucking assholes that will post. Somebody catches me in one fuck up, they'll make 80 videos about it. It'll be the talk of the town. Meanwhile, they won't show me destroying a guy and all the times he fucked up and all the times I was right. So I'm used to being surrounded by phonies. But anyway, uh, Trump is a savior. Savior of what? Living next door to Epstein isn't a good president. Joel Argueta? Argueta? I'm not sure. I'll just call you Joel. What's going on? Yeah, people can't admit the MAGA people. It's amazing, man. It's like you can't get one of them to say, "All right, this is fucked up." You know what I mean? I told you, my mind was blown when I asked my chat with several Trump supporters in it. Was Trump or is Trump wrong for covering up the Epstein files? Because you can't ask if he's covering up the Epstein files. That's a fact. Is he wrong for it? Not one of them would say, yeah, for that he's wrong. They're all in. That's the thing that's amazing. They are all in. There's no half stepping. You know, like us, we support a guy, a woman, whatever, and she fucks up. We'll be like, yeah, she fucked up. Maybe that makes us weaker than them. I don't know what it is. I think it makes us more genuine. You know, I'll tell you about Biden's issues. I'll talk about Kamala's issues. I don't care. I'll talk about Obama's. But and they would always, you know, it was never a problem when it was Bush or somebody like that. But with Trump, man, it's a full on cult, and they will never admit that their leader fucked up or that they made a mistake by voting for him. You're really idiotic, and of course he spelled your Your. Tell me why, instead of just insulting people. Just tell me why. Yes, Trump is wrong for covering up the Epstein's files, and I voted for Trump. Jason Barnes, I'm glad. I'm glad I found somebody who will admit it. Do you still support him even though he's covering up the Epstein files? Be honest. Look at Democratic leaders around the world. How about we look at them right here in America? How about that? What do you think? Thought crimes are legit going to be a thing. Probably. Where are you? Are you in the U.S. or what? The answer is in Area 52. What is your name? What if aliens likes mushrooms? What if aliens likes mushrooms? Okay, I don't know. You're in Canada. Okay, so you know a lot about the U.S. politics. I'm sure you do, because that's really all I care to debate. That's all I'm concerned with. I'm not somebody who's worried about anything else going on anywhere else in the world. My country has been destroyed. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know shit about Canada, so I'm not even going to try to argue it. Maybe it has. Who knows? I don't know. What do you want me to say? I own a condo in Fort Lauderdale. Well, then it sounds like you got a pretty good life, you know? Can I see your play button? Why would I have one? You see I got like 9,000 subs? Well, there you go, man. Should be happy, you know? But again, like, you know, you might be right. I don't know. I don't know anything about Canada like that. Their politics. I I don't even pay attention. There's enough to worry about here. The World Economic Forum. Oh God, here we go. Why did I have a feeling that this was one of those? Yeah, I've seen it, bro. I know. And their agenda. Yeah. Well, if you believe all that bullshit, that's up to you. You know. The conspiracy. I swear to God, they come and they talk shit about Democrats. They're Trump supporters. They're conspiracy theorists. That's all there is to it. That's it. That's all it is. Why don't you look at Trump and what's going on with him? How about that? Since you're, worried about U.S. politics, which I assume you are because you're here. What the fuck does that mean, Jeb? Anyway, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see what else. Anybody got anything to say? Isn't it ironic that everything happening in Canada is happening in America, France, the UK? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Some people connect dots that aren't, or that shouldn't be connected. So some things just happen. So there's coincidences and all types of stuff. I'm not getting into all that conspiracy shit. We're on YouTube. Is Donald made in China? Russia, I believe. Greetings from North American Homosexual Society. We're very big fans of yours. We would like to fly you out to Vegas on the 16th to take part and create content for our gay week. Any interest? Reba Bluff, you got anything to say, involving politics or Donald Trump? Or are you just another retarded asshole MAGA person? Look at Trump's speech at the WEF summit in Davos. No, I'm good. Look at what Gavin is doing in California. Here we go. What's he doing? Name something specific, man. Come on, what's he doing? You had a home in California. Did Gavin take it away from you? Did he let homeless people move in? What happened? Guys, I hope we get some more fucking people because this is not interesting right now. Holy shit. Bro, good luck. You're really dumb. Yeah. Fuck off. I'm fucking trolling. I'm sorry your channel is plagued by this, but it's very entertaining to watch. Okay. Gavin is talking no shit is what he's... Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Gavin is taking no shit is what he's doing. That's right. Come on, guy. I thought I proved we're not all assholes, but honestly, I'm not 100% MAGA. That's why, Jesse Nichols. And yes, you, as far as I remember, are not an asshole. We just disagree on shit, which is fine. You know? Good to see you back, by the way. Good to see you back. TDS at its finest. I told you. Now, as you guys start to see liberals and Democrats coming in, you'll notice that they bring up points about politics, about America, about Trump, about all these issues we got going on. With these guys, you'll notice that it'll be comments like that. TDS at its finest. Now, tell me why I have Trump derangement syndrome. What am I saying that makes me deranged? Tell me. Is that a New Jersey accent? I'm from the UK. Nah, I live in Pennsylvania. Hey, how's it going? I'm going from life to life, spreading your word, or spreading the word, which is Jesus loves you, and he helped save you from your addiction. He really didn't. You did it. You know, it's just like me. I saved me from my addiction. LOL, no, he does not. What? What did I even ask? I don't even remember. You'll start to learn after a while. I have a horrible memory. Oh, no, I don't. What, have a New Jersey accent? I agree with you. But this person isn't from here, so, you know. Yeah, the UK. We should build a wall in New York. Why is that? Come on, guys, bring it on. We got to get this going. We got to keep this going. We got to get some conversation going on. Explain how you helped yourself through an addiction. Explain how I helped myself through my addiction. Not hating on you. Just FYI, just a question. Well, this is what happened with me, man. I woke up and I was a long-term cocaine addict and alcoholic. I was in pretty bad shape, and I woke up in a hotel one day with a girl who I didn't know, but according to her, we had spent like 4 days together. I called off work all 4 days. She told me we had sex, all this stuff, none of which I remembered. I was extremely sick from alcohol withdrawal. And anybody who's been an alcoholic knows alcohol withdrawal, there's nothing more excruciating and deadly than alcohol withdrawal. Plus, I guess I had been on a bender for 4 days, so I'm sure you can imagine just how sick I was. I probably did, fucking 3 8-balls in that amount of time, probably. I just couldn't take it anymore. And I called my mom and I said, Mom, I need your help. I got to get help today because tomorrow will be too late. And she said, I'll call Crisis Intervention. Crisis Intervention called me. They set up a bed for me at a rehab. I went to rehab. I learned some things. I gained a lot of knowledge from it. I learned a lot about myself. And I've been sober since then. So it's almost 6.5 years ago. But whatever got you clean and sober, or whatever you believe got you clean and sober, it's just good that you're clean and sober, man. I don't know American accents. What's going on in the U.S. right now? Government shutdown? Yep. I don't care for Trump's personality. I can't stand to hear him speak, but I would still vote for him over Kamala. Why? Just tell me why, Jason. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm just curious. Honestly, I don't know if you have derangement syndrome, but you definitely won't accept that he has done good, and you get upset at Republican talking points, but you bring up. No, no, no. I don't. The problem is Republicans only use talking points. You think I'm using talking points. I'm not. I will have a conversation with you. Okay? You got to. If you tell me I have derangement syndrome, you have to tell me why. Because derangement syndrome, first of all, the way you people use it is supposed to mean somebody who's just hysterical and just making shit up and lying about Donald Trump because they just can't stand him. I don't do that. If you ask the people from my community in here, my YouTube community, they'll tell you, I actually stand up for him. As much as I can't fucking stand him, if I see somebody lie about Trump, I call it out right away. I can't stand people who lie about anyone. But if you hear me spitting facts about Donald Trump and they just don't fit your narrative, you say I have TDS, and that to me is deranged. That's like you have a certain derangement syndrome. You know what I mean? And I will, Jesse, you should already know this. I think we agreed on some things yesterday, didn't we? Maybe it was me and somebody else, but I will have a conversation about anything you want. What's in eggs, my man? What's in eggs? What do you mean, what's in eggs? Congrats on your sobriety. That's awesome. Thank you very, very much. Awesome recovery story. Thank you, Pat. You heard about this 3-eye atlas. What's your take? No. Oh, wait. No. I might have. What is it exactly? Tell me, because I might have. Do you mean to say AI? Nah, he tripping, says Elmaru19. All right. I've heard it, my friend. Yeah, so Jesse, you know. Charlie Jones, Australian, $5. Thank you very much, Charlie. I said, I don't know if you have. No, to me, the only people who have Trump derangement syndrome are his supporters. Because again, like we see him for who he is. His supporters do not. And Jesse, I'll give you an example. How many times have you, and be honest, how many times have you seen Trump do something? You know he did it. You saw it with your own eyes. But then you heard or saw Trump supporters saying that he did not do that very thing that he did. That's derangement syndrome. Last night, there was a guy, I said that Trump had threatened to sue the Justice Department. He said, no, he didn't. He never said anything like that. I showed it to him. I showed him a report on it. He didn't believe it. I showed Donald Trump saying it in his own words. The guy said, yeah, when's it from? It's old. I showed him it was 3 days old. He still didn't believe it. That's deranged. That's when you have Trump derangement syndrome in my mind, because it's like you refuse to believe that this guy's doing something fucked up, even though I've just proven it to you. Do you know what race Hispanic criminals are listed under in compiling crime stats? I'm assuming Caucasian, right? Derangement must mean being real, yeah. I don't like olives. I just noticed the other night you asked what he did that was good, and I brought up points, and you shook it off. Well, it's simply because, Jesse, what you believe is good, I don't believe is good. You know, like you could bring something up now, and chances are, whatever it is, there's more to it than you might know. You know what I'm saying? And it might actually be a bad thing, even though on its surface it appears to be a good thing. You're a grown man who's constantly ranting about Trump. Get a life. And I bet, Nancy, you never said a thing when Biden was in office, right? Do you realize that I do this for a living, Nancy? Like I do YouTube for a fucking living. So I don't just do this for the fun of it. You know, I'm turning my channel into a politics channel, a channel that I've made an amazing living off of for 4.5 fucking years now. So this is what I do for a living, you know, and the only reason, if I was ranting about Democrats, you'd love it. Did you say that to Charlie Kirk? All you do is rant about Democrats. Do you say that about Nick Fuentes? Do you say that about Ben Shapiro? Do you say that about Candace Owens? No, you don't like my politics, so all I do is rant. I'm a grown man. Yeah, I'm a grown man who's ranting about fucking American politics. Like that's not you're acting like it's a childish thing. Yeah. And as you'll find out if you stick around, Nancy, which I hope you don't, I have a pretty amazing life. This is my first time watching YouTube lives. It's a weird fucking world, I can tell you that. Seen some weird shit tonight. Oh yeah, like what? Jesse Nichols. Now we had a mostly respectful night. You just you straw man that I would tease you about it. The straw man. You said that like 400 times the other night. No, but I'll have a conversation with you about any particular point, you know. But I do have to sometimes scroll to get to the bottom, so I might miss comments. So I might need you to write them twice or something. Oh, Pat Travellino. Yeah, I didn't know what you meant it for. Yeah, yeah. She's the one I called because she's the one that was always there for me, you know. The way the Democrats replaced Biden with Kamala with no primary was enough to make me vote for anyone but her. The extreme left are the biggest threat to this country, in my opinion. Of course they are. You're brainwashed. You don't understand that Kamala was it was just the natural choice. That's how it works. She was the vice president. There was no need for a fucking a primary. You can have an open convention. If she got the votes of the delegates, that's all that matters. You do realize that, right? Like they didn't replace Biden with her. Biden dropped out. It goes to the vice president unless they decide for some reason to pick someone else. It is completely normal. Just doesn't happen often, if ever. I'm not even sure. Okay, but you tell me how the extreme left are the biggest threat, because let me tell you something. I don't even think there's such a thing as the extreme left. It's true. He did threaten to sue the Justice Department, just like Strzok and Page and Orr. Oh, so that's what deflection or Trump enabling syndrome is worse than derangement syndrome. I like that. Yes. I'm glad you got out of that addiction. For me, I had a porn addiction, and Jesus did help me. Give Jesus a try one day and see what happens. Love you, brother. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Same to you, man. And whatever addiction you had, if you're if you're in recovery or you're doing well now, I'm proud of you. Those are some hefty names to throw yourself in the ring with when you got 57 viewers right now. Again, you guys are so dumb. You're such black and white people. Everything's black or white. So because I said those names, you think that I'm comparing myself to these huge fucking personalities and figures? Or could it be that the point I was making is that if somebody is talking about your politics, you're fine with it. If somebody is talking against your politics, you got a fucking problem with it. You see, this is what I mean. This is why you guys are so fucking dumb. You literally don't understand anything. Anything. Oh, I agree with him on this. I come here to argue with him and it's chill. Yeah, hell yeah. Basically, he would rather be real than blow up and make it big for something he is not. That's not how that works. Is that right, Jesse? If you want your comment to be highlighted, send it via super chat. Yeah, I'm gonna start being like these other content creators and doing that shit. Comfortable living off YouTube with your views? Come on, man, stop the cap. Okay, listen, my fucking channel. You might want to take a look at my channel, you jackass. These are political live streams that I do at random times. They're rarely scheduled in advance. The other night, I got 10,000 fucking views on one video that was an hour and 8 minutes long. That number will go up and down. My channel is not about politics just yet. Okay, I've done celebrity interviews. I've had all types of guests on my fucking show because the community's about the mafia, you dope. I got monetized 12 days after I created my channel. And my first month on YouTube, which wasn't a full month, it was 15 days, I made $4,000. Okay. And that was just a half a month. Okay. So believe me, I hate to break it to you, but there's a good chance I make a hell of a lot more money than you, for real. Every time you do something you know it's wrong, it gets a little easier. You know is wrong, it gets a little easier every time. Yes. Sorry, but it's not normal. Sure, it isn't. You're not convincing anyone that you're making a good living off of YouTube. I don't care. Don't believe me. I'm really not even trying to convince you. I'm just making a point because you're stupid. You don't know anything. You know what I mean? You really don't. She ran against Biden, lost, has nothing to do with being VP. What do you mean it has nothing to do with being VP? She wasn't the natural choice once Biden dropped out of the race. And what does it matter that she ran against Biden and lost? She ran with Biden and won. She ran on the ticket with him. Okay, so all the tens of millions of votes they got were for both of them. I don't know if you know how that works. They're for both of them. So when Biden drops out, it's just like let me ask you something. If Biden would have died and Kamala would have taken over, would you have bitched about it and said it's not right, there should be a primary, we should start the process all over? Everyone makes more than me. I suck at life, but I'm happy for you. Well, thank you, Bern, last Sunday. I don't think you suck at life, and I hope if things are bad for you, I hope they get better. I really do. All right, Jesse, we're going to have to agree to disagree. But bottom line is, let me tell you something. If it wasn't right, if it wasn't legal, the Republicans would have stopped it with no doubt. Like that, they would have stopped it from happening, you know? She was polling really low by herself, natural choice. Maybe there's an argument for that. But if they really wanted to win, they could have went another route. Oh, that I agree with, B. Graham. Yeah, definitely. Yep. I agree with that 100%. They could have made a better choice, but they didn't. They did what they did, and, here we are. Burn last Sunday. I try, do what I can. I'm nice to people. That has to count for something. Also, I think I'm gonna like this channel. I hope you do. I hope you stick around. Burn last Sunday, and yeah, being nice to people is all you could do sometimes. You can't control what they do. You can only control what you do. But thank you. And guys, if you do like the channel, if you're new or something, please subscribe and hit the like button. I'd appreciate that very, very much. Tony Pizza. What about Tony Pizza? Oh, shit. Jesse Nichols, I believe she was a bad pick, but even though he is old, I would have loved to see Bernie. Oh, Jesse, really? I'm with you 100%. Fucking right, man. Oh, man. Yeah, I never thought we'd agree on something like that. Hell yeah. Trust me, listen, I didn't want it to be Kamala. But when it came down to that was it. We had two choices, Kamala or Trump. I would have went with Kamala, for a lot of reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't deny that Trump. I got this clip from earlier, man. Unfortunately, it's on my fucking phone, but it's from Nick Fuentes. Now, don't get me wrong. I know he's a white supremacist. He's a piece of shit. I'm fully aware. But when he talks about Trump, sometimes he's correct in what he says, and he talks about, even he said it, that under Biden did things that even helped him, like made it so that medical debt doesn't affect your credit score, stuff like that. Now, Trump undid that, but that was something that helped even him, who's a guy who's, I'm pretty sure, pretty well off, whereas Trump is just taking things away. They made it so that airlines don't have to fucking refund you if they cancel your flight. That's just one thing. They destroyed the CFPB. The agency that used to protect you from fucking being robbed through your bank and stuff like that, and being scammed from fucking websites and shit. They took that away. It's just one thing after another. They're taking food stamps away. They cut Medicare by like $1 trillion fucking dollars. Everything. I mean, they're bad people. I mean, programs that we've had in place forever that we could easily keep in place for the better good of the people who just don't have much in this life. They had to take them away. And why? Only to make the richest people a little richer. I don't understand why anybody would be okay with that. I don't understand, but for some reason, people would rather see the richest people get a little more than see the poor get anything. And that blows my mind because those people don't need help. Those people way up there, you know? It's the people down there that do. Programs for a lot of for a lot of lazy people. You are a naive kid. Friendly Big T, blow me. A lot of lazy people. No, see, again, you guys are black and white people. It's either black or it's white. You're either a lazy scumbag on welfare, you know, or you're not on welfare. Do you know that a lot of very elderly people who just don't have shit rely on food stamps and stuff like that? Do you know that disabled people who can't work no matter how badly they want to, rely on that stuff? You jerk off. I'm not talking about the assholes who fucking take advantage of the system. I'm talking about the people who need the help and should be able to get it. Yeah, B Graham. I agree. He sees the republic is falling. He knows that it always starts at the top, so he's sacrificing his happiness to save his country. You're talking about Trump right now. Are you serious, MKPM? You mean the guy who, for no reason other than the fact that he wants it, is building a $350 million ballroom that even his press secretary said is his number one priority with all the horrible shit going on in our country and the world? He's focused on a fucking ballroom. He's sacrificing his happiness. The guy made $3.8 billion off of the office of the presidency in 10 months. 40% of his net worth accumulated just since he took office this second time. He's only in office for his own benefit. You don't even realize it. You don't realize he wanted to become president to keep his ass out of jail and to make as much money as possible. You can't be for real. See, that's the shit that scares me about Trump supporters. This Trump is a lifelong con man, scum fucking bag, who's done nothing but walk all over people to benefit financially for a little profit. And out of nowhere, you think this guy just, after 70-something fucking years of being a low-life piece of shit, greedy motherfucker, was just like, you know what? I love my country. I'm going to give it all up for my country. His only fucking plan in becoming president from the beginning was to enrich himself as much as possible. Why are you dodging the U.S.-China trade agreement about to be signed? Because I don't know that there is one about to be signed. If you listen to Donald Trump, there's always a trade agreement, except nothing's ever on fucking paper. It's just him saying it. Yeah, I don't think he has done all good. I'm actually center-left. Also, I'm pretty poor, but the Democrats don't help. They just talk about help, and I was willing to try something different. Well, Trump definitely doesn't help. Right, but Kamala, two of her policy ideas was to give $50,000 to people that want to start a new business, and $25,000 to people to buy a new home with. Okay, so there you go. There's some help. You know, and by the way, they don't help. Listen, Republicans have kept the minimum wage the fucking same for what? 16, 17 years now, 725 federal. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some Democrats who probably should have done something when they had the chance. But the bottom line is it's Democrats that do that are for paying a fair wage. Look at certain cities and shit and states that have raised their minimum wage to $15 an hour and stuff like that. And when you say Democrats don't help, Democrats are the only reason there's certain social safety nets. You know what I mean? They're pro-union and every fucking thing else. And if they don't help, I mean, then how are all these people getting food stamps and stuff? Because it ain't the Republicans that want that happening. Now, you might not like the food stamp thing again. But see, that's the thing. I heard someone say once, and it's so true. Democrats will feed 100 people just to make sure that even one doesn't go hungry. Not even one. Conservatives will starve 100 people just out of fear that one of them might not deserve the food. You know, so it's the same thing. It's like you could bash food stamps all you want, but there's a good chance somebody in your family might need them someday. God forbid somebody gets in an accident, or they just get too old and they don't have enough saved up. They don't have enough income coming in. They might need food stamps. Okay, so do people take advantage of the system? They're going to take advantage of anything. There's always going to be people to do that. But it's worth it to see that people who really need something get it. It's just like corporate welfare. Do they take advantage of the system to get handouts and bailouts all the time? Yes. Yeah. Trump is an expert at taking advantage of the system. Doesn't pay any taxes, bankruptcy 6 times. Okay. So if my choice is, would I rather see billionaires make an extra $250,000 a year, or see the poorest, sickest people keep their health care? I would vote for the poorest, sickest people to keep their health care. Guys, please like and subscribe. And if you want, if you're really enjoying the show, you could always hit that super chat button. But at least like and subscribe, please. I get all the way down here. I don't know about enriching himself, because money is nothing to him anymore. I think it was more for power. Mark Askew. The fact that you think this shit is what scares me about you guys. He is the greediest man on the fucking planet. He's suing the Department of Justice for $230 million fucking dollars. His own Department of Justice. He's suing the United States taxpayers for $230 million to put towards his fucking ballroom. He sells watches, for Christ's sake. He sold Bibles. He sells merch. He's a president who's still selling merch while he's president. He made sure his son-in-law made $2 billion from Saudi Arabia. He's made it so that his daughter can make fuck tons of money off of her businesses. Same thing for Don Jr. Don Jr. is raking it in. Even Ben Shapiro did a story on it. Look at it. Okay. Donald Trump started a crypto coin the day before he became president, before he got inaugurated, so he could make billions, which he did. He uses that crypto so that he can take bribes legally, basically, because now any foreign leader, anyone who wants access with him, they just buy enough of his coin and they get his attention. He's the greediest motherfucker that's ever been in office. And if you guys try to argue that, you're out of your mind. He doesn't care about money. Money is nothing to him anymore. Then why is he going out of his way to make so much of it? It's not. It's for power too, yeah, but it's for money mainly. Who pays what? Talking about food stamps and shit? Taxpayers. It's the way it is, man. I got news for you. You're going to pay taxes and they're going to go somewhere. So like I just said a minute ago, if I'm paying taxes, and I do pay taxes, this is a business for me. Would I rather have it go to people who are they already have so much money, they'll never be able to spend it in a lifetime, or people who are sick and starving? People who are sick and starving. Worth it. Yes, Savage. Yes. I pay and I can't afford my own. You pay, what do you mean? He's so bad, isn't he? Yes. He's trying to pay off the legal bills from the lawfare. See, that's why you're full of shit, because Trump didn't even say that. Trump didn't even say that. Trump said, I'll give it to charity, or I'll use it for the ballroom. He didn't say anything about legal bills. Not a thing. And the lawfare, Friendly Big T, are you familiar with the Truth Social post that Trump put out a couple of weeks ago that he thought was a private message to Pam Bondi, where he insisted that she indict James Comey, Adam Schiff, and Letitia James? Like, he demanded that his attorney general prosecute these people. Okay? That's lawfare. Even though they didn't really do shit wrong, and every case is going to get thrown out. That's lawfare. Trump is a criminal. The shit they went after him for is just like me. If I break a law, the cops are coming after me. Believe me, I know. Okay? So Trump broke laws. That's why he's a convicted felon 34 times over. It wasn't lawfare. He was a criminal, and people came after him for it. Maybe Trump will make it to the mob one day. LOL. Shit. He is the mob. What do you mean? There's never been a gangster as powerful as him in the world. DJ Kaz, my man. Look at you. $4.99 here in support of my friend. Come on, MAGA people. Trump has made you guys live better. Show us tips. FB. Yeah, right. No, they're all suffering because of Trump. But thank you, Kaz. You're the man, bro. Tell Brooke I said hello. Friendly Big T, he loves the country. Really? Tell me how. Tell me what he does to show that he loves the country. Research Binance crimes and ask yourself, would you pardon the CEO? He pardoned the scumbag who helped launder money for pedophiles and everything else. All types of disgusting terrorist organizations, you name it. And then when asked why he pardoned them, and I'll play you the video if you want, he said, I don't know. People said good things about him. So he hands out pardons like peanuts. But you know why he really pardoned him? Because when Trump dropped his new crypto coin, the CEO of Binance invested 70 or 80 million dollars into it. It's just like another person. His mother went to some sort of dinner for Trump, fundraising dinner. She donated $1 million. A week later, her son got pardoned. Her son was completely guilty. And by the way, the CEO of Binance pleaded guilty to his charges. So it's not like he was not guilty and that's why he got pardoned. He got pardoned because he gave Trump $80 million. No fact, I don't fuck with Don at all, but I feel like they've been so rich that money isn't shit to them. You know why, bro? Because me and you, if we're that rich, we don't care if we ever make another dime. These people, they get greedier and greedier the more money they have. Why do you think billionaires basically bribe Republicans to give them tax cuts? Because even though they have billions of dollars, they want, do you know the tax boost that these fucking guys got, the richest people in the country? So we had to cut Medicare and food stamps and free school lunches and children's cancer research and Meals on Wheels and every fucking thing else. Do you know how much extra the richest, the top 1%, I'm not talking about millionaires, I'm talking about billionaires. They're literally going to benefit by $250,000 a year. That's it. That's like a penny to me or you for them. And they want it. They don't give a fuck. Not one of them said, no. Give that tax money to the less fortunate. So Trump, there's an interview where he even talks about it, how greedy he is, So that's just him, he even though money shouldn't matter to him, it matters more than anything. It's all he cares about. She's paying for other people's shit and she's not getting it. Who, friendly Big T? I'm way behind. Who are you talking about? Autumn Fragrance. A lot of people who bought Trump watches never got them. Yeah. 5 months. Yeah. Autumn Fragrance, a fucking con man. Good to see you, by the way. But good point. Thanks. I didn't know all that. I don't know about politics or him much. No problem, bro. You did make your point, though. I kind of thought he was already so rich that now it's just like a video game power move. Bro, that's how, listen, man, it seems like it would be. And that's why a lot of Trump supporters, oh, okay, friendly Big T. A lot of Trump supporters, what, she pays for his shit, she's not getting it? Let me see your comment. What I was going to say is a lot of Trump supporters, they say things like he can't be bought because they think he's so rich he doesn't need the money. He can be bought easier than any politician we've ever had in office. I pay and I can't afford my own. No, I saw that, but can't afford your own what? Insurance, groceries, what? And listen, guys, I mean, if that's what you're talking about, I hate to break it to you, but that's life, People are bitter and angry because they see people getting what they consider free shit. and they work and they can't afford certain things, but then go be on fucking welfare and get it for free. Otherwise, you got to do better. That's all. You just got to do better for yourself. That's what it comes down to. Any time in my life where I didn't make enough money, I did better. I went and got a better job, or I found a better way. I had a DJ business for a long time. I do this now, you know. I work in healthcare. Do you know what he is doing with the just government shutdown? Hospitals in rural areas are closing. Justice. I'm sorry. I don't know. Staffing is suffering, which means patients suffer and die. That's what Trump is doing. No, I know, Kaz, but you can't tell these people that. The shit that other people are referring to Jesse. Well, that's the way it is, you know. It's fucked up that the system works the way it does, but we kind of need it to, right? I mean, I'll give you an example. Have you guys seen these videos on TikTok or any even YouTube shorts? To all these people that are flipping out and threatening to rob people and loot grocery stores and shit because they ain't getting their food stamps next month. When I was a kid, I asked my mom, when I first found out about all this stuff, why does the government give people food stamps? And she said, what do you think would happen to the crime rate if they didn't? Okay, so, and we're seeing it now, because all these people are not going to get their food stamp, not all of them, some of them, are threatening that they're going to rob people, they're going to steal, they're going to loot, they're going to do whatever they have to do. You know, so I guess you could say it's almost an investment in keeping the crime rate down. It sucks that it is that way, but it is. It is. There's animals in this country who, if they can't get something for free, they'll just take it. You know, and you might be the victim. Anybody could be the victim. A wife, a daughter, a son of yours, anybody might be the victim of some asshole who said, "Oh, I'm not getting my food stamps this month. I'm going to shoot you between the fucking eyes and take everything in your wallet." You know, it's bad. We have these programs for a reason. Now it's just part of the reason, but also, like I said, I saw a video with a guy earlier. So this sounds dumb, but I want to say incredibly disabled. Like, in other words, it's not like he walks with a limp, or, you know, he's got heart problems, or, you know, something like that, or he's missing fingers on one hand. No, it's this guy. I'm not going to describe him, but he's quite obviously mentally challenged, and you know, to the point where there's no possible way this guy can earn himself a living. And he was just doing this video. He wasn't even complaining. He was just like lost. And he's like, I don't understand why I'm not going to get my food stamp. Of course, it took him like 25 minutes to get these words out, but he said, I don't understand why I'm not going to get my food stamps. I'm scared. I don't know how I'm going to eat. See, if you don't feel bad for people like that, then you should reevaluate your whole situation. You should think about changing in some way, maybe, or look inward and try to just figure out what's wrong with you. Because if you don't feel bad for our sickest, poorest people that are sick and poor, not of their own doing, but because life just hands you a fucked up hand of cards every now and then, you know, deals you a fucked up hand of cards. That's the way it is, you know. Some things just happen to people. So why don't the people who get shit for free do better? Well, again, friendly Big T, a lot of the people who get this free shit are not motivated and not even willing to do anything to help themselves. Those are the people who I say, go fuck yourself if you ain't getting your food stamps. But the people who I just described, and people who have elderly mothers and fathers and stuff like that, who are all alone, and the only reason they're able to eat a meal is because of food stamps, those people, how are they going to do better? They can't. You're not talking about people who are just choosing not to. It's people who can't. The people who choose not to do well for themselves, or do better for themselves, none of us like them. Let me tell you, left or right, none of us, at least I don't. Okay? I don't. Listen, I spent my life living in a certain type of area. All right, that's all I'll say. And I had many people around me who grew up since children on welfare. And the shit they used to say would blow my mind. That the very thought of them paying for food was completely foreign to them. They were disgusted if you even mentioned such a thing. You know what I'm saying? So there's those people. Nobody wants to see them just skating by. I used to go to the grocery store in my neighborhood, and I'd see a fucking a woman at the register with a cart full of all types of shit, steaks, sodas, like chasers for their fucking whatever they were going to be drinking that night, and then they would pay for everything with an EBT card, and then get an Lexus outside, and they'd be covered in gold and everything else. That's disgraceful. But unfortunately, it's like anything else. Any program you put out there, people are going to take advantage of it. That's just the way it is. We got to set up a debate. I think them hearing someone argue with another voice could be interesting and good for you, your channel, and I'm willing. Yeah, that'd be great, Jesse. That'd be as far as views and stuff right now. I really don't have any control. Like earlier, I did a show and I got 2,000 views. It was less than an hour. 2 nights ago, I did a show and I got 10,000 views in an hour and 8 minutes. Like this, I'm trying this. The reason I'm doing these videos, like so you can scroll and just come across my live, is because it's the only way to really gain new people. My channel is about the mafia and shit. At least it used to be. And I've done so much crazy shit on that channel. They don't push it out into the algorithm. Like if I go live from StreamYard where I could drop links for people and stuff. So this is the only way I know how to get this going. And it makes no sense. Sometimes, I guess just from people scrolling. Well, the other night we had 397 people in the chat. Now we got 28. There's no rhyme or reason. And this is my first week doing this. So I'm trying to find out what nights are good and what times are good. Perspective. None of us said, gee, let's give $1.2 trillion to illegals for healthcare. That's what's holding government up. That's your people, not ours. This is what I mean. You guys got to learn more. You have to. Seriously. 1.2 trillion to insure illegals at 1 million per day. That would take taxpayers 3,280, 2/3 years to pay. Oh, God. You know what? It's like you should be humiliated with that comment. I'm sure people in the chat already tore you up. Guys, stop listening to Fox News and stop listening to Trump and Mike Johnson. Illegals cannot, under any circumstances, receive free health care funded by the government. Period. It is impossible. They're lying to you. The government is shut down because of the Epstein fucking files. Period. That's just what they're telling you. You could look it up 1,000 different ways. Right on the Obamacare website, it says undocumented citizens cannot receive federally funded health care benefits, period. The Democrats aren't trying to give illegals health care. They can't. They can't. The Democrats are trying to extend the subsidies in the ACA that make it so that people can have health insurance. And if they don't, those people, many of which pay for their health care through the ACA, are going to have their premiums quadrupled and shit next month. It's the Republicans that don't give a fuck. All the Democrats want is what we've had for years and years and years now. You extend them all the time, extend them now. They won't do it. And I'll tell you why they're holding back, okay? Trump is all over the Epstein files. Chances are Mike Johnson is too. Elon is. We know this for a fact, okay? Pam Bondi sat Trump down in May and said, you're all over the Epstein files. They then assigned 1,000 FBI agents to redact his name. And then right after that, they said there is no list, even though Pam Bondi just said, the list is on my desk, okay? And Trump spent years campaigning and shit and telling you guys how if he wins a second term, he's going to show you the Epstein files. And Dan Bongino and Kash Patel swore there was Epstein files. Now there's no Epstein files. But the bottom line is there are, okay? And they need 218 signatures on that discharge petition. Then I believe they need 60 votes in the Senate. Then Donald Trump has to sign it. Epstein files are released. Trump will do anything not to have those files released. When Marjorie Taylor Greene signed that discharge petition, Trump called it a hostile act against him. Why? It's just Epstein files, right? So Mike Johnson has sent Congress home, shut down Congress a couple of times since the Epstein files became a big issue, like in June or whatever, it became a big issue after they announced there are no Epstein files, you know? So he shut down Congress numerous times to avoid votes that were being, the Democrats were forcing votes on releasing the Epstein files. So he would just shut down Congress. This time, he shut down Congress because a woman named Adelita Grijalva from Arizona won an election, and she's going to be, a new member of Congress. Well, as soon as she's sworn in, she's going to sign that discharge petition. They only need one more signature to have 218 signatures. Okay, so that's it. Once she's sworn in, she signs the petition. Epstein files have to come out. Of course, Trump will never sign it, even though it no matter what. But that's for his own benefit because he's in the Epstein files. So that's why the government is shut down. It's never taken this long in history for a new congresswoman to be sworn in. Okay? And they won't swear her in. Mike Johnson will not swear her in. Now, when asked why, he says because the Congress is shut down. You were in a pro forma session, whatever. But Mike Johnson, you just recently swore in two Republicans within 24 hours of their election, and Congress was shut down in a pro forma session. Oh, well, that's because they had family in town. Oh, so if Adelita Grijalva flies her family in, you'll do it? No. We'll do it when Congress opens back up. That's why they're trying to keep Congress from opening back up. So they're doing one thing they know the Democrats will not tolerate. Okay? They will not vote for this shit as long as those subsidies are going to be canceled. All right? So they know that. So this is their way of keeping the government closed. The little bit of leverage the Democrats have, they are not going to give up for nothing. Okay? So that's why Congress is the government shut down. It's as simple as that. 99% of Democrats voted no to open. Republicans voted 99% to open. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Democrats, again, they have very little leverage. They are not going to allow Americans to get robbed of their health care. Tens of millions of Americans. And give the Republicans what they want. Period. Now, the Republicans, Jesse, can just say, okay, we'll extend the subsidies, and boom. Government opens back up. Simple as that. It's literally that simple. Now you're going to say, oh, but money, money, money. Okay. So Trump's bailing out Argentina for no fucking reason other than that's his boy. He's sending them $40 billion. Now it would cost $35 billion to keep those ACA subsidies for another year. So it's not that they can't afford it. Okay? They're just using this reason to keep Congress shut down. The Republicans don't want to open it. They know goddamn well this is a deal breaker, that there's no way the Democrats are going to bend. So they hold these bullshit votes. They know what's going to happen, And good for the Democrats. They're standing up for the American people. People Jesse, people we all know who need their health care. The Democrats are standing up for us. You will see that I am right. Bad cards sometimes. Yes, so many others. Bad decisions. I agree with you, friendly Big T. Believe me, I'm no liberal. Like I don't give a fuck what color your skin is. I don't care how disadvantaged you claim to be. Okay, it's fucking 2025. Everybody can, everybody has the same opportunities. Okay. So, I think it's ridiculous. I used to look at my friends like, wow, I can't even relate to you. Like I said to a friend one time, you get food stamps? Like, why don't you just buy your food? Like, I know you have money. And she was like, buy my food? Fuck out of here. I was like, wow. Wow. Holy shit. Maybe you should stop assuming we don't care. I know so many getting free shit and there's nothing wrong with them. Yeah, MKPM, I've established that. The problem is you can't just say, here's food stamps, but only specific people are going to fucking get it. Okay? It seems possible and easy, but obviously it's not. There's 350 million people in this fucking country. Okay, people apply, they go by certain things, they go by income, they go by stuff like that, and that's who gets food stamps. You know, that's just the way it is. So people are gonna take advantage, just like the billionaires take advantage of corporate welfare. That's how it works. Every system is gonna be fucked up a little. I'm from those neighborhoods too. Yeah, so you know what I mean. It was bumping last night. Was it, Jesse? Were we doing well last night? MKPM, you don't sign me up along 260 million taxpayers to each pay 5K for illegal health care. It's unfortunate, but for those that really need our help, it's fortunate for those that really need our help. But if economy falls, we're all fucked. Well, anybody who told you that you pay 5K for illegal immigrants to have health care is simply lying to you. That is absurd. You don't think that's ridiculous? You think you actually pay, you think every American pays $5,000? You're out of your fucking mind. It's not true, bro. Illegal immigrants, listen to me closely and Google it. Please Google it. They cannot, it is against federal law for them to receive any type of free health care or assistance with health care that's federally funded. In other words, your taxes cannot legally go to a free health care for immigrants. They don't have free health care, guys. This is what they tell you to piss you off, to make you think you're really paying for this shit. You're not. Your taxes are going to Elon Musk. They're going to Jeff Bezos. They're going to Donald Trump. That's why you're being taxed out the ass. Look up the big beautiful bill. Do you know that people who make $30,000 a year or under are going to have their taxes increased by 74% under the big beautiful bill? Do you know that? More people are going to need food stamps. The Republicans are only in office to make themselves and their richest friends richer. They don't care about you. They lie to you constantly, bro. I'm not going to keep trying to convince you. Look it up 1,000 different ways. Your tax money is never, ever going to illegal immigrants getting free health care. It's bullshit. It's fear mongering. That's what they do to keep you voting for them. Okay, so that's not why the government shut down. Okay, all it is that I think 20, 30 million people or something in this country have health care through the ACA. Okay, the government provides subsidies that keeps that program running and keeps people's premiums down. Okay, if they stop those subsidies, then all of those tens of millions of people, their healthcare premiums next month are going to triple and quadruple. They said something about a family making $85,000 a year. Their healthcare premiums are going to increase by $16,000 a year. And what does that mean for a couple making 85 grand? That's it. No more healthcare for them. They're fucked. So that's all it's about. It's about Americans keeping their health care, not illegals. When we was arguing back and forth, you had like 380 in the chat. Did I? Yeah. That's why these dickheads come in there and they're like, oh, look at you. You got 47 in the chat. It's like, yeah, pick a time when I only have 47 and make fun of me. Yeah. You should be humiliated, bro. Dud, they've already had it. Did you not see in California the illegal trucker? They discontinued over 49,000 illegal truckers with no license in Cali. I don't understand what you're talking about. What are you talking about? What is licenses and stuff? What are you talking about? I've had a friend who watches Fox News and Trump, and we live in Australia, but he legit tells us we are brainwashed. We have encouraged him to stop drinking alcohol. Yeah, good idea. Undocumented immigrants are eligible for emergency medical care, for example, in hospital. Yes, of course. And guess who came up with that law? Republicans. Check it out. Anybody that walks into an emergency room in the United States is entitled to emergency health care, not free health care. You understand? That's moving the goalpost. First you said they're eligible for free health care. No, they're not. So you say, oh, but emergency rooms. That goes for Americans too. Any dickhead could get shot in the ribs and walk into an emergency room and get treated and never pay the fucking bill. It's not covered. Do you understand that? Like, if you're an illegal immigrant, yes, just like if I walk into the emergency room with an emergency tonight, no matter how broke I am, they have to treat me. And then guess what? I get billed after that. The government does not pay for my emergency room visit. It's not a thing. They also can get it through a proxy like an anchor child. Jesse, they can't. They can't. Oh, Snap. I'm not 100% sure about that, Jesse. Snap through an anchor child. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't believe so. Because any government program, you need a social security number for. So if you're illegal, you don't have one. Now, in the circumstances of like an anchor child, you could possibly be right. I'm not sure. Maybe because that child needs to eat. You know what I mean? I don't know. Friendly Big T, I lost my health insurance when Obamacare went in, self-employed, one of the many, many who are on that fine line. Do you know what I'm talking about? Talk about that again. Are you a union guy? I'm not an expert on it to talk about it. I'm not going to be able to add much information to it. I know what you mean. That happened to people, definitely. And yes, I was a union guy for about 4 years. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's possible. And a lot of people from my chat actually are union guys. I think it's possible that Trump is on the Epstein file. Oh, Ronan, it's not a question anymore. Pam Bondi, like anybody could look it up. It's a fact. Pam Bondi said you are mentioned numerous times in the Epstein files. That's why they're not coming out. And guys, what do you doubt that? I mean, Trump was best friends with Epstein for 10 years. Trump is on his flight log 7 times. He's in his little black book, 14 different entries, his information, so Jeffrey can contact him. He met Melania through Epstein. The first time he fucked Melania was on Epstein's jet. He got accused of raping a 14-year-old with Jeffrey Epstein. So of course he's on the files. Please answer that question. I just did, basically, to the best of my ability, bro. I'll never sit here and act like I know everything or I'm an expert on all this shit. I am not. To tell you the truth, even if you ask me the ins and outs of all this healthcare shit, I can't tell you. But one thing I know for sure is that illegals cannot receive free healthcare. They can't. Not other than, yeah, you walk into an emergency room, but that's not free. The government doesn't pay for that. That's not coming out of your tax dollars. I promise you. That's just something that the hospital has to eat, you know, and which they just write it off any fucking way. You actually seem like a good, reasonable person, but one that listens to ABC, NBC, VBC. There's a VBC, CNBC, literally every media outlet except Fox, and you think we're the ones being manipulated. Well, I got bad news for you, bro. I don't listen to any of those networks. I don't listen to, if anything, I listen to Fox more than anything else because, you know, I always catch them doing shit and I kind of have to see what they're up to. You know, I don't watch TV, period, guys. Period. Me and my wife usually every night, tonight plans change, but usually every night at 8 o'clock, we lay down on the couch, we watch a movie, we go to bed. Now I'm going to start doing these shows later at night. But that's it. Like, I don't watch TV. As far as news, I watch YouTube, but I watch independent journalists. I do not watch any mainstream media. I watch Luke Beasley, Adam Mockler, Brian Tyler Cohen, David Pakman. And believe me when I tell you, everything they say, if it seems even a little off, I research it myself to see if it's true. I don't take anybody's word for anything, ever. Marjorie is getting a taste of it. Her kid's insurance is going up and she doesn't like it. Well, yeah, it never bothered her until it, you know, till it hurt her personally. Trusting a guy who's president but wants to hide something that should be available to the public is enabling a manipulator. Trump is a manipulator, yes. Sicilian socialist, you're not the first one I have met. You just decided to call me a socialist. I'm not actually one. Yeah, that's like I could call you a pedophile right now. Oh, Friendly Big T is a pedophile. I'm just making it up. I don't know anything about you. It's the same thing you're doing to me. I'm a socialist? Okay, whatever you say. Black, Italian, Spanish, I've been around, you're lost. Friendly Big T, you don't know anything, man. You don't know anything. I hate to break it to you, bro. You're uninformed. You're misinformed. You're a Fox News person. You let them lie to you all day, and Fox News and Trump are the only people you trust. So anybody who say any different from what they say, you believe it's a lie. You don't believe it. You say, oh, it can't be true. Everything I've said on this show, Friendly Big T, you have eyes, right? You have eyes, you have hands. You have to, because you're typing in this chat. Leave the chat, go to Google, and Google any fucking thing I told you. You could look at 20 different sources. You're going to find out it's all 100% true. Don't act like I'm the stupid one here. I'm not lost. I'm more educated on politics than you probably ever will be if you live 10 lifetimes. Friendly Big T is race isn't a factor. You're being racist. Well, what a surprise. He's a Trump supporter. It's a prerequisite. But that's not free health care, Jesse. That's not free health care. Going to the emergency room, you're getting treated without paying. That's all it is. Which you don't know how many millions of Americans do every year. The government, in order for it to be free health care, the hospital would bill you, which, by the way, no matter who you are, you're getting billed from the hospital once you're treated. Period. Okay? They just can't ask you for money right there or refuse to treat you without money. That's all it is. So, I don't care if you're a Mexican illegal, I don't care if you're an American citizen, I don't care if you're blonde haired, blue eyed, flag waving, Midwest fucking all American white boy. Okay? If you go to the emergency room, they have to treat you, and then you will be billed. Now, free health care would mean that whatever you're billed, the government is now going to cover. So all those illegals, their treatment costs money. They probably don't pay it, but the government certainly doesn't pay it. And that, again, that is nothing that you should be concerned about as a taxpayer. Neither side cares. To some extent, Jesse, I agree. I mean, they're politicians. You got to be an insane narcissist to even fucking think that you are so knowledgeable and good that you can make decisions for the entire country. I feel you on that. But this level of corruption we've never seen before. Where you're getting confused about MK is there's a law called EMTLA, which is that a hospital cannot turn away any patient. They have to at least make sure they're okay, and that's what the illegals use. You talking about me? What I'm getting confused? You mean they use that law? I don't know if you're talking to me, Kaz, because unless you're trying to tell me they do in fact get free health care, I don't know what to say to you. Defiant with Brandon Tucker? Who in the fuck is that? Put on Adam Mockler. You know what I mean? Like Benny Johnson, for example. Somebody sent me a thing from Benny Johnson when he reported that there was 274 FBI agents in the crowd on January 6th. And then I looked at the actual article, and what the article says is that includes FBI agents that were called after the riot started. And by the way, it was Trump's FBI, so what would that even mean? You know what I mean? They get a bill and don't pay. Yeah, like a lot of Americans do every year. Yeah, that's the way it is. I told you, any system, there's people are going to take advantage. It's just the way it works, man. But that's not a taxpayer problem. You ain't got to worry about that. What winds up happening is when the bill comes, they just don't pay it, and then the hospital takes it as a loss, which is another big situation. Healthcare is in, which is only going to get worse with Trump. Thank you, Kaz. Is that not exactly what I said? Medicare should be cut unless you're a citizen. There's no illegal immigrant that has ever gotten Medicare in this country. You might be right, Jesse. I can't argue with that about the child. You definitely might be right. Believe me, I'm learning as I do this too. I'm no expert. That guy is moving the goalpost all over the place. Tell me how. You talking about me or somebody else? You talking about maybe because they switched then to the fucking emergency room and all that? You said that no way illegals could have health care, yet they have jobs as truckers with no driver's license. The dude that killed them in the crash didn't speak any English, had no license. Yeah, but what you're missing is that has absolutely zero to do with healthcare. Illegals can be hired and get jobs. That is your primary bitching point, isn't it? That's what you guys are always crying about. Illegals getting our jobs, which you wouldn't do anyway for what they get paid. What does that have to do with healthcare? They don't get free healthcare. It's not a thing in this country. Illegals getting free healthcare. Jobs, anybody can hire anybody they fucking want. What do you mean? What does that have to do with them getting free healthcare? You don't need a social security number to get a job in this country. People hire you under the table. If you're an American citizen, you do, unless you get hired under the table. Illegals, they go to farms and hotels and shit like that, and they get hired off the books. What happened to a whole lot of people? A whole lot. Wake up. I don't know what that means. Worse than the Epstein files, I think Trump is on the Diddy tapes. I don't know about that. You just said it wasn't about that. You spoke like someone from the 50s. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I'm behind in the chat, so you don't know about the good people like you who are getting screwed. I'm not getting screwed. I mean, we're all getting screwed as Americans, because especially with Republicans in control. That's how it works. And even when there's Democrats, we're getting screwed to some extent. But you don't know what you are talking about. My tax money does not go to illegals getting free health care. It's not a thing. Do you understand that? Let me just ask you, since it's against federal law, who's giving them this free health care? Because it would have to be the federal government giving it to them. You realize that, right? It would have to be the federal government giving them free health care. And that's against federal law. And if the federal government was breaking that law, it would be Trump giving it to them. Okay? Friendly Big T, you made a point and then completely changed direction. You spoke about specific race, then said it's not the 50s. Yeah, I don't know. This guy's, this is how they argue. This guy knows it all. I do not know it all. But I know what I know. What I sit here and tell you, believe me, I know it for a fact. It's not my opinion. See how Jesse asked me about the SNAP thing? And I said, I don't know. I can't tell you about that. That's because I can't. I don't know everything about that. I don't know everything about politics either. But believe me, what I'm telling you is true. Buying meat from Argentina or Brazil is cheaper than America makes here. Well, isn't that a shame? You guys don't see what he's doing to farmers? His tariffs caused China to stop buying soybeans from our farmers. Farmers are going out of business left and right. Their farms are shutting down, okay, because Trump's tariffs. Now, he made it so that Argentina can sell China their soybeans. So they don't even have to worry about getting them from America. And on top of that, he worked it out so that now we, the country we live in, we're now going to be buying our beef from Argentina instead of U.S. cattle ranchers. Don't believe me? Look it up. That's a thing now. Trump just screwed our farmers and cattle ranchers even more. Does that bother any of you? I see it in my own life. I heard Trump 30 years ago. He made a lot of sense, way before he wanted to be president. You're out of your mind. I grew up in New York, okay? Trump was always known as a scumbag and a con man. If you look into his business shit, the fucking guy, he didn't pay the unions. You guys are union people? He stiffed the unions. You know how many unions hate his fucking guts for that? He stiffed the unions. He just let them build the building and didn't pay them. Simple as that. He would have small businesses do hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of work for him. Family-owned businesses. And then he would just refuse to pay. And he would say, you want the money, sue me. Because he knew that they couldn't sue him. He had too much money. This is who he was always a bad guy. In New York, if you were raised in New York, you knew. This guy was on the tabloids every day for cheating on his wives, for fucking, running another casino into the ground or something. He's always been a despicable person. You and I are not the government. Yes, I know that. Trump is not a politician. Friendly Big T, this is why I know you're a little off. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. By definition, He's the biggest, most powerful politician in the entire country and actually the world. You can't be the president and not be a politician, okay? And he got involved in politics with the whole Obama thing because he's fucking racist and he wanted to try to pretend Obama's not from America. Okay. And by the way, that's the dumbest thing you people say is, I want him to be president because he's not a politician. That's like me saying, I want to get brain surgery, but I don't want to have it done by a brain surgeon. I want a waitress to do it. You know, like politicians are experts in politics. They know how to deal with other countries. They know how to deal with, you know, domestic policy, foreign policy. They know the ins and outs of all of it. They know the history of our country and everything. Donald Trump had the Declaration of Independence in his office. They asked him, what does that mean to you? He goes, I don't know. I mean, I forget what his answer was, but it had nothing to do with America declaring their independence. It had nothing to do. He had no idea. He had no idea. You need a politician in a politician's position, okay? I just Googled how do Americans pay for illegals to have health care. Please do. It's not free if we pay for it. I don't know how you Googled how do Americans pay for illegals to have health care, and it probably told you you don't. It probably told you you don't because you don't. We supported Biden even though we did not vote for him. Good shit. The guy in the chat focused on illegals and free health care. Yeah, because that's all they care about. Let me tell you, I told you, Trump could... I use this example all the time. I hate saying it, but I'll just say this. There's nothing Trump can't do to lose their support except for stop supporting or deporting Mexicans. That's all they care about. The whole platform is built on hatred. The voter base, it's all built on hatred. Trump won the first election the second he came down the escalator and said Mexicans are rapists. That's all you guys care about. That's it. You want those Mexicans gone and you want to deal with black people as little as possible. And Trump could rape a woman live on TV and perform a back alley abortion on her. And you guys would say, whatever, as long as he keeps deporting those Mexicans. At least if you're being honest. Because you don't care about anything. You know he realizes you're stupid, right? Like he's the one that said, it's amazing. I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue in broad daylight and I won't lose any voters. What he was telling you is not necessarily that you're loyal, but that you're stupid. That there's nothing he could do. Any other man in the world could do something and lose your support. He cannot. There's nothing he can do to lose your support. He knows that about you guys. He knows he has you brainwashed. This fucking guy still thinks illegals get free health care in this country. What would happen if Trump and Microsoft had a baby? I don't know. They go to the emergency for the sniffles. They do. I've been to the emergency and saw it. Well, you haven't seen people in the emergency room for sniffles. You might have seen them sniffling, but you don't know what. Nobody goes to the emergency room for sniffles. You act like free. You act like free treatment is like free food. You act like they're showing up to get a free steak. Why would you waste your time sitting in a cluttered fucking bullshit emergency room just waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody to take a look at you because you have the sniffles? You wouldn't. Nobody would. What do you think? They benefit somehow? You think that the hospital writes them a check? If the hospital wrote them a check every time they got treatment, I'd believe you. That is the dumbest fucking thing I ever heard. Okay, something simply as healthcare is illegal, just like allowing 20 million strangers to walk the fuck in. I don't know what language you're speaking in the beginning there, but are you still arguing that we pay for illegal immigrants' healthcare? Like after everything I just said? The ones that let them in are the ones that given them healthcare. Free healthcare would have to be funded by the federal government. Okay? So what you're saying, you would say that Biden let them in, right? You say Biden let 20 million walk in. So you're telling me that right now, Biden is using federal funds to pay for their health care. Don't act like what I just said is stupid, because that's literally what you're saying. Biden, who's out of office and has no power, he's paying for their free health care. Because let me tell you, if the federal government was paying for their health care, it'd be Trump doing it. Now, I bet you don't believe Trump's doing it, right? So who's doing it? He skipped my findings on illegals and Medicare. Jesse, that's one thing you got to stop. I don't duck anything. I don't skip anything, but I can't read every fucking comment. Qualifying children in certain cases in older U.S. GAO reports, they estimated a cost for benefit programs for children of illegal immigrants, though data is dated and incomplete. Okay, so you're talking about children who are birthright citizens, right? American citizens. Their parents just aren't. Providing healthcare needs is a basic human right, and you're complaining about it. Well, that's because, guys, they've been convinced. Let me tell you what they've been convinced of. They've been convinced that Mexicans are the problem, that black people are the problem, that poor people are the problem, that people on welfare, people on food stamps, they're the problem. What they don't realize is the only minority making things tough for them are the billionaires in this country. That's it. That's it. Guys, the poor people, they don't have as much power as you think. Your taxes, a minute percentage of your taxes might go to helping them. And here's the funny part. A lot of Americans don't even pay fucking taxes. You get a return bigger than what you paid in a lot of the time. And even if you do pay taxes, your shit is going. I think they said, I saw something today that said we're paying about $5,000 a year for corporate subsidies. Now that might be the $5,000 you're talking about, because I'm telling you, it is not for illegals' health care. But yeah, we definitely might be paying $5,000 a year each for corporate subsidies. No, they cannot be hired. It's illegal. But they can be hired. Do you understand? Like for instance, I could go shoot somebody right now. It's illegal, but I can still do it. Okay? It's not like the free healthcare thing, because that money would have to come from the federal government and go to them. And that's impossible. And like I said, if that's happening, then you got to talk to Trump about that. Okay? You can't say no, they cannot be hired. It's illegal. It's illegal to hire any illegals. It's illegal to hire an illegal to pick oranges. Okay? But they do it, right? So to say they can't do it is absurd. It's ridiculous. They go to the emergency room for the sniffle. Oh, I read that one. Ridiculous. I'm a city guy. I know what is happening out there. The changes I have seen since I was a kid is unbelievable. All Democratic policies. Like what specifically? I'm just curious. And let me tell you, here's the thing about when you were a kid, like, you're not anymore. Okay, so just like that changed, just like a long time ago you were a kid, now you're an adult. That's a change. Okay? And right along with the time it took you to go from being a child to being an adult, whatever age you are now, everything else changed in that time too. You know why? Because everything changes all the time. This is we can't be stuck in the 50s, guys. We can't. It's time is moving on. People are changing. Things are happening. You know, that's always going to happen. You said there's no free health care, and yet we see Medicaid expenses almost $1 trillion spent on national debt. Yeah, Medicaid expenses. Yeah. Did I say there's no free health care? Did I say there's no free health care for illegals? That's what you guys do, and you're losing the argument. You just twist my words. I said there's no free health care for illegals. Medicaid cannot go to illegals. Neither can Medicare. Medicaid is a program, yes, that Americans use, that old people use and shit. Yeah, 1 trillion, of course. What do you mean? You don't want Americans to have it either? Friendly Big T, they went to the emergency room for sniffles and what? Get x-rays, CAT scan, blood work, and full medical for free for the sniffle. It doesn't even make sense. I know a bunch of New York guys who love him. I know some who don't like him too, more like him. But that's because, let me tell you, my channel is supposed to be part of the mafia community, the YouTube mafia community. Um, I know many, many New Yorkers. My whole entire family is from Brooklyn and Queens. My entire family. Okay. They're all very intelligent and they don't support Trump. The guys that support Trump, for example, are like some of these mob guys. They can barely put together a coherent sentence. They're half retarded. They've been in the streets since they were 3 years old. You know, they have no natural intelligence. Those are the guys that like Trump. I didn't say that people in New York hate Trump now. That's you twisting my words again. I said if you grew up like I did in the 80s and 90s in New York, you hated Donald Trump because he was nothing but a scumbag slumlord and con man. That's all he was. And let me tell you something. New Yorkers never liked him until that racist bullshit. See, those people I just described, most of them also have that in common. I always say, isn't it fascinating that this man has conned America into a situation where people on the streets of Brooklyn are voting the same as people in the hills of Alabama? Those two groups hate each other, but they're voting the same. You know? They're voting the same. And what was my point? Oh, what do they both have in common? Guys on the streets of Brooklyn, and I'm talking about, from my community, Italians, okay? And I grew up Italian, so don't tell me shit. I grew up Italian in New York, so, you know. What do they have in common? Guys on the street, I'm going to skip down to the bottom. Guys on the streets in Brooklyn, what do they have in common with guys in the hills of Alabama? You tell me. There's only one thing in the world they have in common. What is it? I'm not even going to give you the answer. I'm waiting. And guys, maybe you could hit like, subscribe, and maybe even throw a super chat into the mix. That would be dope. I know there's only 32 of you, but that's still 32 people, you know? Billy, what do you got your hand on your head for? Incest. Nah. Racism. Donald Trump, New Yorkers never liked Donald Trump, bro. Never. They always hated him. He was a pretentious, cocksucking, fucking wannabe socialite. He was a douchebag. Always. He threw little old women out on the fucking street. Nobody liked him. Those same guys in Brooklyn hated him until he said Mexicans are rapists. That's when the people in the hills of Alabama and the people in the streets of Brooklyn all started jerking off to a picture of the guy. Okay, Arnold, sorry. I try not to skip comments, but I had to scroll down. You always refer to Google. So Google, do illegal immigrants get free health care in New York City, for example? And check the answer. Health care is not only federal, bro. But that's the thing, Arnold. That's the thing. You're moving the goalpost. Because I never said that that's not true. They're talking about our federal tax dollars. This is what this entire conversation has been about. Going to free health care for illegals. One person even specifically said Medicaid. That is not possible. I didn't say shit about New York City. I didn't say shit about Boston, Houston, LA. I didn't say nothing about any of that. We're talking about the federally funded ACA and the fucking Medicare and Medicaid. That's what we're talking about. So I don't have to Google it. I don't have to Google it. You know, it's just actually a fun, enjoyable conversation. And nobody's getting crazy. We're not tearing each other apart. I like it. Jesse Nichols is my homie now. She doesn't know it, but... All right, bud, my phone is dying. If you want to set up some kind of Discord meetup and set something up, just figure out how you want to do it. I'll catch you around. All right, Jesse, have a good night. Oh, shit. Anyway, guys, I mean, I guess that's it. If you guys want, I'll give it a few minutes, see if you guys want to say anything else. Thank you, Jesse. I really appreciate that. Even if you guys don't agree with me, you know, if you want somebody to argue with, whatever, please subscribe. It would mean a lot. I guess Sunday night isn't the night for people scrolling on YouTube. I don't know. It's weird. Strange. I don't know, I'm trying to remember what last night was like. All right, guys. Well, it looks like everybody's done talking. So I'm going to get going. I got to eat something. I'm fucking starving to death. I'm exaggerating. But I will see you guys maybe tomorrow night. Italian Made 99 cents. Thank you, Italian Made. I appreciate you very, very much. So thanks again, guys. Wait, Charlie Jones. There are less and less hiding places in this world, and a lot of bad people are threatened by that. Yeah, without a doubt. All right, guys. Thanks for engaging and talking and having the conversation and sharing your opinions. And thank you for hitting the like button and subscribing because I'm hoping you did that too. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Have a good night.